Okay, today I'm going to start a video showing how I install these 1/2-inch mahogany bottom planks on this boat for good. They're all cut and fit, and there's still a little bit of work to do before I remove them and then install them for good. So this will be the 9th video in a series of videos I made showing how to install a new double plank bottom on this Chris-Craft. I made 9 other videos before this showing the work I did to this bottom. Just an overview. All the bottom frames were replaced. This lower transom bow was replaced. The chines are new. Inner ply has been installed for good, and it's all painted on the inside. So I made 9 videos so far on this. The first one being this laminated transom bow. I did that out of four pieces of mahogany and wet system. And then I went through and replaced all the frames, every frame in this boat. Here's the old ones up here in the rafters. They're all oil soaked and split and rotted in some cases. And I made a video on how I steam bent these new mahogany chines. These were too far gone. So these are new ones. So I made a video on that, and then I made another video showing how I cut the keel landings. This is the original keel. It was still good. I saved it. So once I built all the bottom frames up, I built them a little bit high, and I didn't put the keel landings in as I replaced one at a time. So once they were all in, I made a video showing how I cut out for the keel and dropped this keel into it. And I made another video showing how I faired all the bottom frames to work with each other to get a nice smooth bottom. And then I'm looking off of a sheet right here. Then I made a video on how I cut this rabbet joint with a router to receive the inner and outer ply. That was a setup that I did. And then I made a video showing how I installed the 1/4-inch marine ply, inner ply. And I made another video showing how I installed the white oak intermediates, because here's a main frame and a main frame here, and between that you have an auxiliary frame, and then you have intermediates between those. So I'll show you a shot underneath here. There's the white oak intermediate right here, and there's a bottom or auxiliary frame. And you can see this inner ply's already been painted. All these have been painted. And you can see all the 5200, there's no voids between that inner ply and the bottom frames. And all these connections, all the knees that connect the hull side frames to the bottom frames are all new, and they're all 5200'd together and screwed. So all those are new, all those connections. And in some cases I even had to make a repair on the hull side frame. And I think one last video I made was how I fit some of these bottom planks, this garbage right here, how I fit it to the keel. I steam bent that one. I steam bent all these planks up here. It made it a lot easier. I've done a few bottoms before this, probably 5 or 6, and I always just bent these 1/2-inch mahogany planks in cold, and they split sometimes, and I ended up steam bending these up here, and it worked out real nice. You can see these planks here, there's 2. There's a seam right there. These 2 planks kind of narrow down right here. That's 2 planks, and then there's one plank that continues on back. So that's kind of neat how they did that. And then here's a location of a butt block underneath, tying those 2 together. So those are all the videos I made before this, leading up to this point. Now this video, there's probably 2 more videos. There's going to be this one, and then which this video is going to be about how I install these 1/2-inch mahogany planks on for good. They're just tacked in right now with some screws holding them to the frames. So the next step is to drill all the holes, all the countersunk holes, and then I'll remove these planks, and then I'll show you how I install them. They still have to be clearanced out because I fit them pretty tight, and then I show you how to clearance them before you install them for good, and I'll show you what kind of caulk I use and what type of clearance to put between the joints. And then there'll probably be one more video after that, and once these planks are all down for good and all these holes are filled, I'll show how I ferret, finish sand it, and then apply a finish to the bottom. So there'll be 10 videos total showing start to finish how to install this new double planked bottom. And I'll tell you, what size screws I use and everything, because you'll be going into, there'll be frame screws, and then there'll be screws going into the intermediates, into the chine, into the keel, into the transom bow, and into the butt blocks where 2 planks come together. So there'll be 10 videos total on this bottom replacement. So I'll stop the camera and I'll get set up, all right? Okay, I wanted to make a correction on that last segment that I just taped. I looked at it and I had mentioned that this is going to be the 9th video in a series of how to install a new double plank bottom, and then I mentioned a couple of times that I made 9 videos previous to this, but it was 8. I already made 8 videos and this is going to be the 9th. And just to list those 8 videos, they were steam bending mahogany chines, laminated transom bow, cutting keel landings into bottom frames, fairing bottom frames, cutting rabbet joint into chine, installing inner ply. Then number 7 is installing white oak intermediates, and then the 8th one was fitting and steam bending the garboard plank in the bottom. So those were the 8. So I just wanted to start the camera and make that correction, okay?